Come on, sweet girl. We're gonna watch people with cats.
No, we're gonna watch cat people.
Same difference. In the early 1930s and up to the 1940s, Universal Studios was doing a lot of monster movies.
Yes.
They started with Dracula, they were doing Frankenstein, The Mummy. They had a lot that they were doing, and they were doing it successfully too. Of course, you know, other studios wanted in on that money too.
RKO.
Yes.
I mean, they were successful with Citizen Kane, but then things just kind of, it's like, okay, we need something
new,
something that where are the kids? What are they hip to right now? Monster movies. So
that's exactly what the producers and studio heads said.
They
what are
said,
the kids into?
What are the kids into? This is the, what's the new trend? RKO brought in producer Val Lewton, and they're like, what's going to be their first project? Cat People. So Cat People is a 1942 thriller. It's a film about a woman played by Simone. That's the name. Simone.
Simone.
So cute.
What I loved about her was when we were first introduced to her, she's at a park and she's obviously looking at the cats because it's about cat people, but she's drawing. She's an independent working woman who's an artist, and I got a kick out of that.
That is all thrown away when she meets her future husband, Oliver. Ollie.
He is nice.
He's nice. They all start like that, right? They all start off nice. And then
what? Kind of similar to Wolfman, she is a character who is in a different country than her regular country. So she's still new to the culture, she's still new to the people, and then there's stuff that happens in the story that you're like, this poor girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's not wanting to be experiencing these things that she is experiencing. She's not wanting to have these emotions and have this conflict in her mind or anything like that. She's wanting to have a normal American life. Main character, Irina, she is afraid of turning into a panther, and we don't see that. And so that's the beauty of this movie, is that you don't know whether or not it is truly in her head.
You felt bad for her. You had empathy for his character. Yeah.
There's a character in this movie that when you first meet them, you're like, okay, you're kind of cool. But then something is said, and call it female intuition, or just call it, dating history of the past. You get this little thing and you're like, this little alarm going in your head going, oh no, I don't like this person now. There's something about them. And then it came true, and I'm all, ha ha!
It's like she knew it. You got it.
No.
I know, she was very happy about that. Very proud.
I was really happy about, I knew it, but very sad that it was coming true. And no one's exactly perfect in the story either.
Yeah,
I mean, even the main character, who we have a lot of pathos for, she's not exactly being pure either. So there's things that she does that you're like, girly, shouldn't probably do that.
Yeah.
But that isn't to say that she's a bad person, but not everyone's pure good, no one's pure evil.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is a gray. A lot of people have things that you're like, one of my favorite scenes was actually the walking home scene that one character does.
Yes, that's a pretty known scene. I mean, if you've seen Cat People, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's the scene where Alice is walking home at night and she's being followed.
Or is she? I love that. I love that they play with your assumptions, like, oh, she's being followed. Oh, but is she really? Like, you kind of see something that you think that you think something's gonna happen, and it's not quite happening yet.
Right. I mean, they use that lighting and shadow, but sound, footsteps.
The sound was really good in that.
And then there's no music. It was just footsteps. There was no suspenseful music, no
droning noise.
No droning. It was just footsteps, and faster, and then
it would stop. When the reveal happens of what it is it's a slightly distorted sound. So you think it's going to be one thing that you're anticipating it to be.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be something, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about a lot of jump scares, but it's the use of sound. Yeah, the blending of the sounds.
And the absence of sound before that moment. Yeah. That's what really kicks it in.
Yeah, so I mean, everything, the whole scene together is just very well put.
I mean, is it going to make you jump out of your seat? Maybe not.
I mean, if you're used to...
You still get a little...
Yeah, it's a little...
Just see, like, oh, it's not quite the same scare that we would experience nowadays. In fact, our audience would probably consider it very, very mild and rather... Poor Alice.
Alice again. No.
She is at her hotel, her room, wherever she's staying. They all seem to stay in hotels in a lot of these old movies. But she goes for a casual dip.
Yeah, late at night. What was it like? Well, it felt like it was like
late.
too late. You know, I was like, I'm just going to take a dip in the pool. Why not?
Yeah. No one else is there to, spot me or anything like that. Be my lifeguard.
Yeah.
Screw it.
But
it is I would say it is one of the most suspenseful scenes I have seen in a movie, because I did not know where it was going to go. You know what you're afraid is going to happen. You are as afraid as Alice is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this woman is alone in this pool.
Very vulnerable.
She's hearing the strangest sounds.
Yeah.
And
no music again. Yeah. No music in the scene again.
They were very, very wise in not drowning it in music in this movie. And particularly in this scene, you just need the noises, and you are already kind of creeped out with this poor girl. Yeah,
and again, they use the shadows and your imagination. I mean, would you call it a horror film?
No, not a horror film, because I don't see it as a slasher kind of film, or one that you personally are supposed to be afraid of this character. I see it more as a psychological thriller.
Yeah, it's almost a character study.
But that's not to say it is a bad movie. It is an awesome movie.
And the cinematography is beautiful.
I would say it's actually better than Wolfman.
Yes, I mean, Wolfman is it's a cool looking movie. It's very, inspired a lot of films. And
yeah, it's compared to Catwoman, Wolfman's a little brightly lit.
You said Catwoman.
Whoopsie. They really advertised it like the Universal Horror Monster movies, so that there'd be deaths and blood and monsters. And
there is death.
While there is death, it's not in the usual anyone's under threat of this character. So like in Dracula and in Wolfman, he could go after anybody. They have somebody that they look at. They usually have a reason. Oh, they don't have a reason. They're just attacking. Right. I could see a lot of similarities where they were trying to pick up on some of the traits that Wolfman had done just a year previously. So I did see some similarities, but you can tell they were really trying to make something different while using kind of the same techniques.
Yes, Wolfman had a bigger budget. Well, Universal had a bigger budget.
No, for sure.
So RKO's like, okay, we don't have the budget, but here's a challenge. You're going to do the same. You're going to do what they did, but on half that budget. So they had $300,000 Universal. RKO had $150,000 to make the cat people.
And you know what? They did a pretty good job.
Pretty darn good job. I don't think it did as well as Wolfman, but it did very well. Surprisingly well. The critics didn't care for it so much, but the box office did very well. And I mean, enough that they were like, hey, we want to do... They did a sequel.
Yes, Curse of the Cat People.
Curse of the Cat People, which is considered even better than the first. Apparently, there was a remake 40 years later.
Yes, in the glorious 1980s.
Yes, with Natasha Kinski.
And John Hurt from
John Hurt and Malcolm McDowell. Yes. Yes, but apparently the only similarities are like a couple of scenes in the title.
Yes.
No.
The biggest change from this movie? It's more boobs.
Boobs.
Lots of boobs.
So you might want to see it.
If you're into boobs.
If you're into boobs. Nothing wrong with that.
Gratuitous boobs. The poor lead spends about 40% of the movie topless, naked.
Yeah. So,
saves on costuming.
So we're not going to review that movie, but go see it if you want. Whatever. It's available somewhere. But we're going back to the 1942 Cat People, which, yes, unfortunately doesn't have boobs.
Well, there's a nice bathing suit in it.
There is a bathing suit, yes.
Pretty good
that's the closest you're going to get to boobs. You know what? They failed in the original. We need to show more skin.
A lot more
skin. There wasn't enough skin in the original.
On and off the characters.
Exactly. So that's what they pulled off for the remake. I mean...
Oh, crap. She's out there right now.
There's a cat fight.
How ironic.
But yes. We give Cat People 4.5 milkshakes out of 5.
If you like what you saw, like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook.
You're such a pretty kitty. You are such a pretty kitty.